$19 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That's what Facebook paid for an app. An app built by a guy who, and I mean this, started with basically nothing. So how on earth does that happen? Well, that's the story we're getting into today. So picture this. On one side, you have a kid growing up where having a phone wasn't even a given. It was a total luxury. And on the other side, that same kid grows up to build a massive global network that pretty much connects billions of us. It's a wild story, an almost impossible journey.
All right, so today we're diving deep into the life of Jan Koum, the genius behind WhatsApp. And trust me, it's not just another tech story. It's this incredible tale of struggle, breakthrough ideas, and sticking to your guns, no matter what.
Okay, to really get this story, you gotta understand where it all started. And nope, it's not the classic Silicon Valley garage. We have to go way back, to a small town just outside of Kyiv, back in the days of the Soviet Union. And this part is so crucial, because everything that happens later, the seeds were planted right here. Imagine growing up knowing the government could be listening to your phone calls. Imagine the power just going out all the time. That kind of childhood burns two things in your brain. You crave privacy, and you need things to be reliable. And those two ideas, they basically became his life's mission.
So when he was just 16, he, his mom, and his grandmother just packed up everything and left. And where did they go? Mountain View, California. I mean, talk about a culture shock. They landed right in the heart of the tech universe, a world they knew absolutely nothing about. And look, the American dream didn't just happen overnight. It was tough. It started with the family living on welfare, relying on social programs just to scrape by. And to help out, this kid who would one day become a billionaire, he got a job cleaning the floors at a grocery store. Every single penny mattered.
And this is where you really see his drive. I love this part. They had no money for new textbooks or anything. So what did he do? He went out and bought used computer manuals and just taught himself everything. He was literally building his future from second-hand books. It's amazing.
Okay, so you've got this incredible drive, right? But how do you turn that into an actual career? Well, this is the part of the story where our self-taught kid from Ukraine starts to morph into a real-deal Silicon Valley engineer.
And his path was, let's just say it wasn't exactly traditional. He didn't have a fancy college degree, he didn't go to some coding boot camp, he just learned by doing. First he's teaching himself, then he's sharpening his skills in these online hacker groups. And get this, he ends up landing a job at Yahoo, one of the biggest names in tech at the time, after dropping out of college. Incredible.
Now, Yahoo is where he meets Brian Acton, his future co-founder, and the thing that connected them, it wasn't just the job. It was this deep, shared belief system. They both just hated ads. They thought tech should be clean, simple, and totally private. That it should serve the user, not exploit them. This philosophy, it basically became the DNA of everything they would build together.
So after almost 10 years, both of them leave Yahoo. They're kind of burnt out, a little disillusioned with the whole thing. But then, a brand new piece of tech comes out, and it sparks an idea that is going to change, well, pretty much everything.
And here's the funny thing. The original idea for WhatsApp wasn't even a messaging app, not at all. Koum gets one of the first iPhones, right? And he's totally fascinated by this new thing called the App Store, and especially push notifications. So his first idea was super simple, an app where you could just share your status. Like, I'm at the gym, or my battery is dying. That was it. That was the whole idea. But then something really interesting happened. He started noticing that his friends were using the status feature to talk to each other. One person would post a status like, "Hey, what's up?" And another would reply with their status, "On my way." And that was the light bulb moment. He realized the real power wasn't in just broadcasting your status, it was in the conversation. He'd basically stumbled into creating a messaging app completely by accident.
So he and Acton just went all in on this new idea, and they built it around 4 key pillars. 1, it had to work on every phone, not just fancy iPhones. 2, your phone number was your login. Super simple, no complicated profiles. 3, no ads ever. That was the mantra. No selling your data, period. And 4, and this goes right back to his childhood, it had to be rock solid reliable, even if you had a terrible internet connection. These 4 things, that's what made it explode across the globe.
Of course, when you grow that fast, people start to notice. Big people. And that brings us to the final, and maybe most dramatic part of our story. This is what happens when a company built on a foundation of privacy goes head-to-head with a titan built on collecting data.
And here we are, right back where we started, that massive number. Because in 2014, Facebook shows up, and they have an offer that is just staggering. An offer you can't really say no to. Suddenly, John Coombe, the guy who cleaned grocery store floors and lived on welfare, was on the verge of becoming a billionaire many times over.
But there was a huge problem right from the get-go. A fundamental clash of cultures. Coombe's whole world was built around protecting user privacy. Facebook's whole business model was built around using that user data to make money. I mean, you can see where this is going, right? These two things were just never going to mix.
And yeah, they clashed big time. After a few years of fighting about Facebook wanting to add ads and mess with the encryption, Coombe did something most people would call insane. He walked away. He just left. He gave up his seat on the board, left billions of dollars in stock on the table, all because he wanted to keep the promise he made to his users from day one.
When you step back and look at it, it's really one of the most incredible stories in all of tech. I mean, going from living on food stamps and cleaning floors to creating one of the most powerful communication tools on the planet. And the whole time, he never let go of those core values he learned as a kid. It's just, wow.
And that kind of leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? A question for all of us. Jan Koum literally put a price tag on his principles. For him, they were worth more than billions of dollars. So in a world where our data is the new currency, you have to ask yourself, what's your privacy really worth?